Good evening and welcome to a program devoted entirely to Lefties Losing It. And I'm afraid the miserable miscreants of the celebrity world have had a rough couple of days. They have been railing against democracy again and uttering words they do not understand. Here is Jane Fonda.
Our industry is ready to mobilize and to resist autocracy, to resist attacks on our fundamental freedoms. We're artists, we're creatives. Freedom of expression is essential to what we do. Many of our fathers and grandfathers fought wars to defend this right, and we can't just sit back and let this happen. And it's moving fast. This isn't a creeping totalitarianism. This is fast-moving consolidation of autocracy, and that means we have to move fast.
You know what's not moving fast? Jane's face. Go easy with the fillers and the bobo lady. Good Lord, it's becoming difficult to tell her and Madonna apart these days. And of course, any celebrity spouting far-left nonsense is given a platform to spew that on CNN.
He is amassing power in a way that will destroy our democracy. And so we're going to stand up. We want to move forward with love, with unity, with solidarity, and we want to encourage everybody else in all the other sectors of this country to do the same. You know, we don't want to be a pillar of support to this regime that's forming.
You know, these people really do exist in a parallel universe. Do they think the Hollywood mindset is the majority? Do they have no respect for democracy and the fact that Donald Trump is in power because he won an election in a landslide, despite his opponent outspending him by a huge margin? Now to another dim-witted, hopelessly out-of-touch, ageing celebrity who seems to think he speaks for the masses. Here is Hollywood has-been, a hysterical Hollywood has-been, claiming that Trump has a dark presence and he has destroyed America. Here is Richard Gere.
That are worried about what's happening in the U.S. Are you worried?
Of course. No, I mean, we have a president who's he's not only crazy, he's a dark, dark presence. And it's happened so quickly. 6 months, he's almost destroyed our country.
Yes, secure borders and a return to manufacturing will destroy America. I guess we shouldn't be surprised because this is the sort of reckless neo-Marxist activism we've come to expect from Richard Gere. Remember this? It's almost an ad for illegal immigration. Watch this.
So the people that you see here on this boat, they're only here because of the donations to Open Arms, to the work that Open Arms does. And now the most important thing for these people here is to be able to get to a free port, be able to get off the boats, get on land and start a new life, be taken care of and make a life for themselves. So please support us here.
Now to the woman who wanted to be president but failed abysmally despite spending $1.5 billion, outspending Donald Trump by an enormous margin, only to lose. She lost the Electoral College by a big margin, lost every swing state, even lost the popular vote. But somehow Kamala Harris is out there repeating a verifiable lie, claiming that 2024 was the closest presidential election of the century and Donald Trump does not have a mandate. She really is rather mad.
And here's the other thing that is quite unprecedented. And it was the tightest, closest presidential election in the 21st century. He does not have a mandate.
Incredible. She knows that's a lie and she keeps repeating it because Kamala thinks lefties are too dumb to know any better, or she is genuinely that ignorant herself. Now, I know a lot of you had high hopes for the new Pope after the incessant leftist activism of his predecessor, but I tried to warn you, Pope Leo is cut from the same cloth. At a time when Christians are being persecuted and slaughtered from Africa to Asia to the Middle East, Pope Leo is blessing a block of ice in the name of climate justice. Now, let's have a look at Meghan Markle being weird and inauthentic. Here she is swanning around like she's Queen Cersei in Game of Thrones. And let's have a look at this rather awkward encounter with Pier Paolo Piccioli. He's the creative director of Balenciaga.
Would you mind taking my picture? Thanks.
Oh, yes, that was awkward. Let's have another look at it. The left are nothing if not thick as a plank of wood, but not nearly as useful. Let's hear from this Liberal woman who seems to think that if you have a credit facility, be it a credit card or mortgage, then you are essentially on welfare. Get ready to be assailed by stupid.
If you have a credit card and you hate people who ask for handouts, you are a person asking for a handout. A credit card is somebody else's money. So for all you right-wingers who are all, oh, stop giving people handouts. If you have a credit card, you're a hypocrite. Yeah.
Oh, she got us there. How can we ever respond to that razor-sharp analysis except to say that, unlike a handout, you have to pay back the credit card with interest if you don't pay it back in full by the due date. So not at all like a handout, but our genius financial advisor was not done yet. She has more analogies.
Did you buy your house flat out? Did you write a check for the full amount for your house's value? No, you did not. You got a loan. You asked for a handout because you couldn't afford a house. The credit system is a handout. And the fact that most of you can't see this. Go back to school.
Yeah, folks, go back to school. Then you can be so spectacularly stupid that you think it's a good idea to showcase your ignorance on the internet. Now let's check in with Dylan Mulvaney, the Bud Light destroyer who mocks girlhood for a living. He's gone from posting content like this.
Excuse me, where's the women's restroom?
Sorry, ma'am, you're not allowed into the women's restroom.
Well, I guess I'll just piss on the floor. Piss on the floor. Piss on the floor. Piss on the floor. I'm pulling my panties down like a hoe, cause I'm about to piss on the floor.
Charming. Yep, he's gone from posting content like that to dressing up like this. Dylan's got sick of dressing up in girl phase. He's now posting stuff dressed like a man. So let me get this right. Dylan is now a man pretending to be a girl dressing up like a boy. Sounds like a useful thing to do. Here is Dylan dressed up as an old man to promote his new show.
They have matinees. They've got matinees on Saturday and Sunday. 5 o'clock on Saturday and I think 3 o'clock or maybe 3:30 on Sunday. Get your tickets now. Hey!
Let's hear from the mayor of crime-riddled Chicago. Here he announces that he's effectively banning ICE agents from his city, anything to frustrate the Trump administration's efforts of deporting illegal immigrants breaking the law.
Today, we are signing an executive order aimed at reining in this out-of-control administration. The order establishes ICE-free zones. That means that city property and unwilling private businesses will no longer serve as staging grounds for these raids.
The Democrats certainly seem to have a permissive attitude when it comes to criminals, and it's not restricted to illegal immigrants. Listen to Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell, who thinks criminals don't belong in jail, they deserve understanding.
The criminal system has had a disparate impact on black and brown communities. Let me lead with that. So when this person is committing 6 or 7 crimes, I don't know his or her story. Maybe they were abused as a child. Maybe they're hungry. So my remedy is to find their life story to see how we could help first. I have no desire to put them in jail. but I need to protect you.
So it's no surprise that these blue cities have turned a blind eye to the violence of far-left activists, including Antifa, and so has CNN. They even object to these politically motivated criminals being called terrorists.
You keep calling them terrorists, but isn't that hyperbolic to call them terrorists?
What is? If anything, I'm understating the severity of the situation. What issue was more central in 2024 than turning back the border invasion? And since the day we came in, ICE officers have been subjected to a nonstop campaign of physical violence and harassment every single day.
And Stephen Miller was not done yet. Watch as he schools the CNN anchor who thought he had a gotcha moment.
Democratic president someday calls the National Guard to a red state over what they see as open rebellion, but is what amounts to a demonstration that gets rowdy. I mean, is that not a fear of yours?
They're posting pictures of their kids because it's a demonstration, and they have a sniper on top of a building firing a high-caliber rifle at a nice facility because it's a demonstration, and they are engaging in vehicle ramming.
But the National Guard isn't being sent to Texas.
Because it's a
the National Guard isn't being sent to Dallas, where that sniper was.
Because the Dallas Police Department and the governor of Texas, well, you walked right into that one, have responded to every call for assistance and help. They gave a stand-down order in Chicago, and they gave a stand-down order in Portland. Do you realize that there's 11,000 federal law enforcement officers in Oregon? That's larger than the size of the FBI. Local and state police are resourced to deal with this kind of riotous assembly, but they have refused. They've been given a stand-down order.
And the dumb questions from CNN weren't just about Antifa. Listen to this.
Is it the case that, as Pritzker frames it, you are profiling brown people, that this immigration crackdown is designed to go after people of color?
It's such a, oh, what a dumb question. The illegal aliens who are here are taking jobs away from blacks, they're taking jobs away from whites, they're taking jobs away from Latinos, they're taking their health benefits away, they're taking their school slots away, and of course in many cases they're committing heinous crimes. We cannot have a system of law in this country that privileges illegal aliens over American citizens, and that's what they're doing. You know it, and I know it.
Okay, you think after that the CNN anchor would move on. But no, somehow he thinks that emphatic answer wasn't really clear enough. He wants further clarification, and boy, did he get it.
So that's not exactly a no, Stephen. Can you just unequivocally state that the immigration policy...
I said it's a dumb question. Okay.
Well, I appreciate that. But
it's a dumb question.
So no, this policy is not designed to...
I thought when I said it was a dumb question, it meant no.
Well, I just want to be clear and precise. I appreciate you trying to qualify my questions, but nevertheless, I think it's a fair one that a lot of people have.
My full answer is no, that is a lie, and it's a dumb question.
Let's start with a young, deranged woman attacking conservatives, David Cate and Cam Higby, and then getting maced. This is what is commonly referred to as effing around and finding out, or just instant karma.
Go home. Go home, Charlie.
I'm not going anywhere.
What was MLK known for?
Don't use physical violence. Stop.
Yo! Hey. I'm stupid.
Fight everybody. We don't want to fight. Stop.
Here's the license.
Stop.
Oh. Hey. I'm stupid.
And like any good leftist, the cry bully ended up acting like the victim when faced with the consequences of her own actions.
You people maced me because you're evil and you will get what you deserve. I mark it on my face. Take videos. Take all the video you need. You're evil people. You're not Christian.
Yes, they are the evil ones, lady. Now to our favourite little climate change crazy doom goblin turned anti-Israel zealot, Greta Thunberg.
Hello, this is going to be a long video, but I have a lot to say, so bear with me.
No. Nobody's got time for a long rant from Greta. I'd rather hear what President Trump has to say about Sweden's worst export.
She's just a troublemaker, you know. I mean, she's no longer into the environment now. She's into this. She's a troublemaker. She has an anger management problem. I think she should see a doctor. She needs anger. If you ever watch her, she's a young person. She's so angry. She's so crazy. Now you can have her.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And Donald Trump should know he is responsible for Greta's finest moment. Remember when he ignored her at the UN during his first term? Look at that face. That was the day she gave that deranged "how dare you" speech. Good times. Now let's get a good old-fashioned dose of crazy from the ladies of The View. Here is Joy Behar claiming Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, is targeting Bad Bunny because he's Latino. And then Whoopi Goldberg helpfully recommends that folks turn up to the Super Bowl in brownface to confuse ICE agents.
Anyway, she's threatening to go to the Super Bowl when Bad Bunny is there and round up all these people that are illegal immigrants. Do you think that she would go if it was Garth Brooks or Eminem or Taylor Swift or any other white person?
Let me understand what you're saying, because she's going to go to the Super Bowl and round up. How's she going to know who's who? Everybody. Get a little cocoa butter, sit in the sun. That's the first thing. and this is the only time you can probably ever do this, give yourself a Latin accent.
You know, Whoopi, that is such a good idea.
And see if she can tell who's who.
Even the dim-witted View audience did not want to clap that lunacy. As for the claim from Joy that Kristi Noem wouldn't be doing this if Garth Brooks, Taylor Swift or Eminem were performing, well, think again, lady. All three are as left as Bad Bunny and judged accordingly. It's The View that seems to be obsessed by skin colour. And these ladies have become so desperate, so extreme, that they openly discuss their wacko theories, including one where they say Trump's law and order policies are really about a plot to end elections or distract from Democrat mega donor Jeffrey Epstein.
This is a pretext to stop the next election. That's what I think it is.
I would say it might also be a distraction from the hearing that's going on right now about the Epstein files.
Right.
Some things have come up, and AG Pam Bondi was dodging questions and attacking back.
Wackadoodles, all of them. Now to a woman whose politics make her a perfect candidate for The View. Indeed, she's so hard left, she makes Whoopi and Joy look sane. Here is MSNBC anchor Nicole Wallace. And let's be serious here for a second. What you're about to see is utterly appalling. This is misinformation and incitement dressed up as news reporting.
What we're learning about the fire that destroyed the home of a South Carolina Circuit Court judge who faced criticism from Trump officials after a ruling she made against the Trump administration. It comes amid a surge in hostility and threats against judges, as well as criticism directly from the Trump administration, including for Judge Goodstein.
Just absolutely reckless fake news, because the pertinent information is that fire was not arson. But why let that get in the way of a narrative? Let's bring in Mary McCord to add to the hysteria. She's pointing the finger at Donald Trump and alleging an act of possible domestic terrorism.
We've talked today already about crossing Rubicons, right? And when you're starting to attack judges because of their rulings, we're in a very, very dangerous position in this country. And it makes judges fearful. It makes prosecutors fearful, as we know. It makes others in positions where they could be criticized by Donald Trump fearful. And he needs to know the power of his voice and how people respond to that. We've been saying this for years, Nicole, but if this is what this turns out to be, some sort of politically motivated act of domestic terrorism, then, the importance and significance of the things that Donald Trump says about a person just, again, will be demonstrated in this instance.
Let's not forget, it's the left that are killing and trying to kill their political opponents, whether it's Charlie Kirk or Donald Trump or Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh or Republican Stephen Scalise. Even in the cases where a Democrat is attacked, it often turns out to be someone from the left, like when Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's house was set alight by a pro-Palestinian activist. Now, it's been a while since we've featured the asinine content of alleged comic John Oliver. Here he is encouraging people to harass ICE agents.
I absolutely love that that woman said, I came to bother ICE. Because that seems reasonable to me. If ICE can show up and bother some guys at their roofing job, then bystanders should be able to bother ICE at their state-sanctioned kidnapping job. It is only fair.
Wowie, didn't Democrat Katie Porter lose it in spectacular fashion during an interview with CBS? She was asked some rather obvious softball questions and still managed to have a meltdown and tried to storm off the set. Let's have a look at the question that set her off in the first place and just note how unpleasant, how entitled and hypersensitive Katie Porter is throughout this interview. She really is the embodiment of the modern Democrat woman.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, ma'am?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election? Yes.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't think
I feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't care. I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation.
Oh, she wants to have a pleasant conversation, does she, with no follow-up questions? I'm sure every Republican would prefer that too, but all they get from the media is hostility and invective. And yet it's a Democrat who's having a meltdown after being asked the mildest, most obvious question. Let's see how this train wreck concludes.
And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there. And we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
Oh, she doesn't want it on camera. Oops, it's on camera, lady, and you look like a hysterical, entitled, highly unpleasant clown. You know, these Democrats are so used to having nothing but endless adoration from the media, just one tongue bath after another, that they are outraged when a follow-up question occurs. Katie Porter wants to be the next governor of California. God help the Golden State. Now to a less angry but probably more confused Democrat. Here is Delaware Congressman Sarah McBride, a biological man identifying as a woman, creating cringe content like this.
We're barreling towards a shutdown. All my Democratic colleagues are here. I'm going to go search for my Republican colleagues. Republicans, y'all know there's a government shutdown. Republicans, anyone here? Is Mike Johnson in here? Let's see if some Republicans are in here. Are there any Republicans in here? Hello? Republicans? No Republicans here.
Now let's go to Portland and watch a pitiful little soy boy get his comeuppance after repeatedly abusing officers, shouting all kinds of ugly slurs. This little Antifa agitator spat in the face of an officer and was met with the full force of the law.
Guys got the law here. Go back to the South. You belong. Get out of our state. Get out of our state. Get out of here. Get out of our state.
Good times. Now, it's often said that leftists are so afflicted with TDS that they would find a way to hate Trump even if he cured cancer. Well, former MSNBC anchor Joy Reid confirmed the same is true for her when it comes to Vice President J.D. Vance.
I can't stand J.D. Vance. Let's just be clear. There's nothing he could do. He could literally rescue my cat out of a burning building and I would still hate J.D. Vance.
He could rescue her cat from a burning building and she'd still hate him? And what about Don Lemon giggling like a deranged schoolgirl there? And let's end Lefties with proof that leftists ruin everything, even their own wedding.
Alongside their demonisation of trans people, our government and media is currently also complicit in a genocide. And I know some of you may think a wedding is not the time to think of this. Trans men are men, trans women are women, trans rights are human rights. So yeah, in short, I love Matthew, free Palestine, and trans rights are human rights. Enjoy your main.